Hello there, I'm Joe, and this is where I do CSS battles from times before. These are from October of 2023, October 8th, that's the 9th, and that's the 10th, and I'm going to do them right here and right now for your edification, let's say. All right, what do we got here? So it seems like the right approach would be circle and then cover it. So a circle background, so a radial gradient on the body, and then cover it with some other thing. You could also do a circle and then a conic gradient to do the covering. Repeating conic gradient will do that. I think I want to do it with 4 elements with a display flex, and that's what I'm going to do. So we have the first element is just regular. The next one will be flopped on the x-axis, which I'll represent with the x attribute. The next one will be flopped on the y-axis, which I'll represent with the y attribute. And then the last one is flopped on both of those, so it'll have both those attributes. So if I do a display, if I put the background right like that, yes, and then I have this element has a background. Now I need to make them be part of a layout, and that layout is going to be a display flex. And the reason they disappeared is because they lack a width, and so I'll give them a width. And I know there's going to be a gap. It's whatever the gap of that spacing is. So gap 10 pixels, let's say. All right, so let's line up those 4, and we are going to wrap, so we need a flex wrap, and the value of flex wrap is wrap. All right, okay, let's narrow this down. What, 15 maybe is the top, margin 100, 70, 75, let's say. And let's increase the gap. All right, let's get the width right. 60, 70, 80, 80, 90, 100. All right, so see what I'm kind of getting at there. 2, 3, 4, 5. And so we're getting a little bit of a funkiness about the gap there, so maybe we need a second gap value. So 20 and 50, or 20 and 40, 50. All right, so it looks like, so that's the idea. I'm going to do a transform scale, and it's going to be a var of dash dash x or 1, and 1 just means have it be the same scale on the x-axis as it was before. And then a second is a var dash dash y or 1. And then when I create these attributes, I'm going to set x to -1, and then the y attribute I will set to dash dash y of -1. And you can't see that yet. Why? Because why is that? That's because we don't have anything to distinguish that. So I think that what I would like to do, and I'm not sure this is a good idea, I'm going to try it, radial gradient, border radius of 100 pixels, 0, 0, 0, like that. So that kind of works. Not great. Actually, is that going to work? I don't think it's going to work. It might not work. Well, at any rate, I think that means that the border radius technique will not work. So let's do a radial gradient, and it's going to be at 100%, 100%, so that the origin of this radial gradient is down low, and it's going to be a circle, and it's going to have a transparent middle. We want the background to shine through. 20 pixels, and then we're going to have this dark color, 0, 40 pixels, and then transparent again. So that's conceptually what we're looking at there. Now, we don't have things lined up, and that's bad. So let's get things lined up properly. And so to do that, I'm actually going to set a backup background color, which will make these solid. All right, so the radial gradient's there, but it's being clobbered by the rest of it. And I added a margin of 0 because I think that the margin of the paragraph tag is interfering. 30, and then this is 80, let's say. Okay, so that's good. 20, 30, 40. There it is. So we're kind of getting there. Problematically, 3, 4. There it is. So now we are lined up. So let's see now when we remove this. Now if we adjust this gradient, and what I notice is that that circle has an origin, its radius is actually inset, so it's actually the center here. So what we can do is set that radius to be what, at 120% and 120%, and we might have some luck, maybe. So let's increase these numbers. That's getting a little better. There, okay. Okay, so by setting the origin of that thing more at the center, we've approximated what would have been a circle on the body. Now the other way we could do this was we could have the circle, well, I described it earlier that we could have something that covers these things, but this is the way I did it. Let's submit it and see if we get 100% match, and if so, then we've done it. This is a peculiar maybe way to do it, but kind of you know, I find it kind of enjoyable to do things in an odd way sometimes. So let's I'm gonna make these be in a different unit now. 3, 4, 5, 45%, 46, 47. 47%, and then let's do another 60, 70, 21, 22. Maybe we leave those as pixels, and that's fine. That's just fine. So let's minify and unit replace, and then submit and see how that score is. Several ways to do this one. You know, it's a lot of fun. We might not need the circle keyword. Let's see if that alters it. And we don't need it. We don't need the circle keyword, so that's a nice little win there. These margins are, do we need the margin of 0? Yes, we do. Do we need the width and height? Yes, we do. Let's submit again. I think that's our final answer. That's a lot of fun. Super fun. All right, so, and then off the next one. All right, so we have another symmetry here. In this case, something is flipped upside down. So what's the right way to do this guy? I kind of think, what's the right way to do this guy? Okay, let's, maybe I think this is 2 elements pretty clearly in a display flex. So let's make those 2 elements. And then the second one is going to be flipped upside down. So transform scale y of -1, and that's all it takes to flip something upside down in appearance. You can't see that yet, and that's okay. You'll see it soon enough. We have that light blue on the background, and then the first part of this is let's do a radial gradient of a circle of this dark color. And that circle's like at the top, so it's like 50%. So it's in the middle, 50%, and then it's like I don't know, 15% down, something like that. And then transparent. So those are our 2 elements. You can kind of see them. So we want a margin, I think a margin of 0. On the 0, and then 50. No, actually probably 0. Probably doesn't. No, we do need a margin of 0. So in these, we're going to do. No, we need a margin 0 at the top and bottom, and then we need some margin here. So we'll do margin 0, 50, and then let's set a let's just see what we're dealing with. So I set a background color of this ridiculous red. So let's increase our margins 100, 110, okay. And then we do want to display flex. And then we do need a width. Now width is like 30. Actually, no, is that width like 60? That width is like 30. We do need a gap. Gap is what? It's like another 30 pixels. So the width is 60. And the gap is also 60. Yeah, I think that's right. And we will need a margin on a paragraph tag because it's getting pushed down a little bit. Okay, so now let's make the height of this, the full height, 300. Boom. All right, so let's put the circle at the center, so it's centered. Okay, and then let's do 10%, 11, 12, 13. Maybe it's 13%. We might have to replace that value. Yeah, we will. Let's do it with just 12%. And that doesn't look very good, does it? There's a little bit of an overage there. I'm going to remove this. And then what am I doing? Oh, I'm going to do another radial gradient, which is a circle and is purple on the middle. A circle at 50%, 100% purple, and then transparent. And we will need a comma between those two things. So there, that's in principle what we need. It's not quite right. There it is. And probably we need, again, 12%. And then we need to move that up using our background position. So 50%. And then the error of my decision is that I didn't think through exactly what was going on there. So instead of making the height 200, let's make the height 300. Let's make the height 200, and then let's do a border bottom of 100 pixels solid, and then that color. There it is. And then let's make that a little bigger. So let's set that. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 140, and then that border is 40, 150, 155. All right, so we kind of have a mess here. Let's fix up our mess. All right, so that circle is no longer dead center. Is that dead center? We're increasing the size now. Kind of feel like we're being implored to say 30 pixels instead, and so we'll do that. That's just fine. And then now let's move this guy. So using background position, we have moved that down a little bit, and unfortunately, we also have a repeat there. What are we missing there? Is that our border bottom somehow having a weird effect? Oh, it's not. It's that our background of this radial gradient is not doing exactly what we expect it to do because of the height. There it is, 145. So that's the thing. It was, oh no. We need to move that up. We need to move that up. That is great. So what's going on there? So that means that we were counting on this border, but the size to get this to work correctly obligates us to do something a little different, which is to do a repeat or a no repeat, but we'll do a repeat X, and that'll give us the same effect. Oh, it won't. It will not give us the same effect. Why not? Okay, something's got away from me here, and that's fun. So we got this circle that is transparent. That's the dark one. This bottom one is a problem. Why? Let's understand this circle is at 50%, 100%. It is a 30 pixel circle and it is transparent on the end. How about we set that? Let's set that as pink. Oh. What's going on there? There we go. Okay, so if we set this as pink, what happens? Okay, so it is not. Somehow that purple color is doing something really odd. So yeah, so that's that, and I think it is what I was describing. So it's not at 100% that this circle is at. I'm just going to set that circle like that, and then I'm going to move it down. I don't need the circle at part. I just need circle. So there's the troubleshooting. And then I want no repeat. And then interestingly, okay, so the circle we're going to do at 50%. There we go. We don't need background position. Instead, we're going to use the at value to push that into place. And that was visible because I've turned on this pink color so I could troubleshoot it a little bit better. So there's your two gradients. Let's see if we're a match. I think that we may not be. We got a little bit of edginess there that's a little troublesome. No, it says we're at 100% match, so we're going to accept that. All right, so let's minify and unit replace, and we're going to call it good. That's a tricky one. Trickier than I imagined it, and probably not how I did it before. Oh, it looks like I got a new high score. So I've done all these before, but I try to do them in a new way each time, and, give myself a chance to learn. All right, lastly, a lot of similarities between these two. In fact, if we copy and paste this and then do it as a scale X, maybe this is the harness through which maybe this is kind of weirdly similar, right? We got this circle, and then we got this other part, and we got a border. Let's see what hay we can make of this. All right, so is it worthwhile for us to keep the same? Yeah, let's keep the same. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 65. Yeah, okay, and then we're going to make this gap be 10 pixels, some small amount, and then we're going to make the width of these elements match. 100, 120, there's 120, that looks not too bad. And then we need to increase this gap so that they match better. 130. Now it's all about what's the background of this paragraph element, because that's all that's really left. We've got so I don't need the border bottom, and I'm not going to do the border bottom. So that means we're going to use our height of 300. And now we're going to replace these gradients. So we can almost reuse this guy right here. In fact, if we swap out this color to be transparent, and in fact, let's change the body background color. Great. And this the middle color of that circle is now that, and then let's make blue the second color. There it is. And then there's our circle. Needs to be a little thicker, huh? And then we need that circle to come down. Is that, and in fact, if we just put it in the middle by not having an at, is it in the right place? Yes, it is. That's great. And I guess we don't need that purple now. So this guy's no good. There it is. So then what we need? To me, this is a conic gradient. And that's this color, 50%. The blue, 0, 75%. And then the yellow, that. And then by adding an at value, that's at, well, I guess it's 30 pixels. That will do it. And we only need the one value because it's implicit that it's 50%. And that's all we need. Is there anything we can remove? The margins are set. The background is set. It's a display flex. We have a gap. Our paragraph has a margin of 0. Width of 120. If we remove that, then things move around a little bit, and we need to add more code. So we're just gonna leave that be. I think that's fine. And then our conic gradient is doing exactly what we want. Let's submit it and see if we get 100% match. I'm going to go ahead and preemptively minify, even though that's premature. And that's a great score. That's perfectly acceptable, enjoyable chunk of code to replicate these, I don't know, a P and a Q looking at each other, or eyeglasses, or two musical notes that are upside down, something like that. Anyway, a lot of fun to do these CSS battles. Thanks for watching if you're watching. If you got questions, please do feel free to leave comments. You can also visit my website at artlung.com. I got a guest book there. If you got comments or suggestions, feel free to reach out. All right, have a great day. Bye-bye.